So I'm here with Raul Castañeda. That's a friend from forever.
Since elementary school, right?
It was elementary, huh?
Miss Hillary, right?
Miss Hillary, yeah. And that was a magnet program?
Magnet program, yeah. 94, 95.
Man, that's been a minute.
It's a long time,
Don't guess our age, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about our ages right now. Reason I actually wanted to have a conversation with you because I'm very interested in the path you've taken as far as the whole running, exercising. So in a way, you're considered like an athlete level because you do everything as far as cycling, swimming.
Yeah, I've done several triathlons.
And I'm curious to know how you got into that. Like, what kind of did you watch someone do that? And
I would do like little hikes in there, but nothing like competitive. Just to go out there and just stay active. And then I started cycling. So I've been cycling for 9 years. One of my coworkers actually asked me. He was telling me, "Go get a bike, man," because he used to cycle a lot. My boss too. They've been cycling for years, and they would always push me, get a bike. And I ended up getting a bike, and I fell in love with the sport. And I've been riding a lot, doing several 100-mile bike rides. And I ended up doing a 200-mile bike ride.
Damn.
And then I found a local running group in my community, and then I transitioned from cycling to running. And I've been doing cycling, running, and eventually evolved into triathlons.
You did it more for your health, or you did it just because you kind of wanted?
For my health, and then also at work, they used to do a charity bike ride for diabetes.
Okay.
So every year, my work would do a charity ride for diabetes, and that's when I got my first bike to join the charity ride, and I signed up for a 100-mile bike ride. So I trained for several months and did my first 100-mile bike ride, and then I just fell in love with the sport, going out, being in the mountains and stuff like that.
And that's kind of what led you into everything marathon.
Yeah, you do the swimming first, and then you do the biking, and then after you finish with the run.
Walk me through that.
So there's several distances. Like you have your Olympic distance, you have your half distance, and then you have your full distance. The full one, and you swim for 2.4 miles you swim. And then you bike ride for 112 miles, and then you finish off the full marathon, 26.2 miles. And you have about 17 hours to complete it. You have 2 hours and 20 minutes to complete the swim. For the bike part, you have about 8 hours. And for the running part, you have about maybe 6-7 hours to finish it.
Okay, 17 hours, right, you say? Yeah. So how do you even divide that? You're like, okay, do you eat? Do you take naps? Is that included?
No.
So it's literally...
you have to eat during your bike, when you're doing the bike part. So that's when your nutrition. Like you have your granola bars, your ghouls, electrolytes, your water. That's when you're supposed to consume the more calories, because you have to save the energy when it comes to the running. My first triathlon, I did it in 14 hours.
Okay.
So I was able to complete it in 14 hours because I'm not a good swimmer. I just started learning how to swim 3 years ago. So the hardest part for me was the swimming part.
That's scary too, because how many miles you say?
It was 2.4 miles.
Damn, that alone, that's tiring. You have to be mentally prepared too, because...
Yeah, if you're not used to being in the water, it could get scary because you could panic up there in the water.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you sit down there at any point in time in that?
Yeah, you have the option that you get rest when you're halfway in the bike part. Like you can take a break if you want.
But you still like rolling, meaning you're pedaling, sitting, resting in the bike.
Yeah,
that's what
you
you're
could
saying?
stop. If you because they give you you could drop off a bag where you could have a lunch. You could stop at mile 50, and then have a sandwich or some potatoes or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's up to you. If you're going for competing for time, then obviously it's not convenient to stop because you lose a lot of time on your breaks. But if you're going out there to have fun, you can stop, have your sandwich or something.
Where are you at right now, in the competing side or in the I completed side?
When I first did my first triathlon, I ended up getting injured before. So I just went out there just to complete it. I wasn't out there to compete. I just went out there, just to enjoy my first triathlon. So I wasn't worried about finishing at the top 100 or whatever. I was just out there just to complete it. But I do eventually want to get to that level where I'm placing in the top, maybe top 10 in my age group.
I feel like that's a full-time job right there. Training.
It's a lot of commitment, a lot of time away from home and stuff like that. So you have to be really, really committed to it.
Because I remember when I first saw you in bicycles, I was like, oh damn, he chose the right path, rather than the party life and crazy. I'm like, yeah, that's dope, that's.
And it's funny because before, I used to party a lot, but When I was going to turn 30, and I was like, you know, what am I going to do for my 30th birthday? A lot of people go out there, get drunk, you know, go party. I want to do something I'm going to remember. So I signed up for my first 30-mile race. And I think I only trained for like 2 months, which is not recommended. And it took me about 7.5 hours to finish it at Griffith Park. But it was rewarding to finish, you know, being at the finish line and getting my medal, and then doing 30 miles for my 30th birthday.
For sure.
It was great, and then that's what led me more into to running,
those
doing
milestones.
marathons.
Because how you say you remember that. Because what if you chose the clubbing in Vegas? You probably would not remember that night or whatever. You know, like
out, remember what happened,
exactly.
Stuff like that.
We're recording.
But that's what got me into like doing ultra marathons, like doing 30 miles, and then doing 50 miles. My first 50 miles too, something always happens before a race. I end up getting injured or something like that. I was doing mountain biking, and I was coming down a hill, and I ended up flipping over. Like 2 months before my race, and I ended up getting injured, my shoulder, my knee. So that kind of like, I stopped running and stuff like that because I couldn't do it. And then when it came to the race day, again, I was out there just to complete it. And it took me about 14 hours to complete 50 miles. I was literally the last one to finish the race.
Damn.
A lot of people dropped out like at mile 20 because it was so hot. And I ended up passing out at mile 43, 7 miles before the finish line, because I think it was like 115. And I was super dehydrated. I got to the aid station at mile 43. And I sat down, and I told the medics, like, I don't feel good, I feel dizzy. And they told me lay down. As soon as they laid down, I passed out for like 10 seconds.
Oh, shit.
And then they woke me up, hey, get up. Like, they asked me, has this ever happened to you? Like, no, it's the first time. They threw a bunch of water at me. They say that when you feel dehydrated, you're supposed to throw water on your armpits and in your groin. And they gave me a boli. They had bolis there, so that helped out the sugar. And I called my wife. I'm like, you know what? I just passed out. They're gonna bring me back down in the car. I can't finish the race. And I was sitting there, and I was like, it's only 7 miles left, you know. Like, I was sitting there for like 20 minutes, and then I told the volunteers and the medics, you know what? I'm gonna finish the race. And they were like, okay, you could do it, but we're gonna have somebody pace you. So somebody was able to pace me the last 7 miles, and the medics were just following me in the car just to make sure I was okay.
That's what pacing means, just following
somebody was following me
on your side. Okay.
Just to make sure I was okay, make sure that I didn't pass out again. And I got to the finish line, and I finished it, and my body wasn't consuming any food, any water, nothing. It just kept on vomiting, throwing up, and I was rushed to the hospital. And then I was there for 3 days. It told me I got rhabdo. So rhabdo is when we do extreme sports. It produces this protein that goes into your body, and it messes up your kidneys. So I was there for 3 days just on IVs, but you know, I got through it. Next year I signed up for my another 50-mile race, and I was able to complete it in 7 hours and 30 minutes, half the time that for my first one.
So do you think the first one was a heat?
It was a heat, yeah.
But would you also say you maybe prepared more for the second one?
Yeah, I definitely prepared more for the second one, and obviously the climate, the weather was way better. It wasn't hot at all.
Because you dehydrated probably faster.
I was super dehydrated. Even though I felt like I was drinking enough water, it was just too hot.
Just steaming out.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of people dropped out. You know what, this is not worth it. This was on my first 100-mile race. I was at mile 30. A lot of people dropped out like at mile 30, and I was sitting down because it was too hot. I was sitting down in the shade part, and some guy sat next to me. He said, you know what, I'm just going to quit, man. It's too hot. And then for that one, I only made it to mile 50.
Okay, so I'm aware, let's say the marathons, 26 miles, they call it 10K?
No, it's a 42K.
42K,
For a
okay.
marathon, yeah.
Okay, because that's the part that confuses me. Obviously, K is kilometers, but it's 2 miles per kilometer or 1 point something. So 100 miles, they call it a 100-mile marathon?
Yeah, it's 100 miles, yeah.
Okay, they don't go by kilometers.
No,
they don't
it's just
do
100 miles.
Oh, okay, that's the part where sometimes I get confused, like 100K or 100 miles?
Yeah,
you know,
100K is 62 miles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you get to 100 miles, it's essentially 100 miles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's still a lot. That's wild, man.
So yeah, I want to train again for doing I want to compete my first 100-mile race again.
What would you say is a fair amount of training or a good amount, like prior to a marathon?
26 weeks.
Which
Train about
that's
4 months.
like, okay, 4 months, 4 to 6 months to be
Yeah,
safe.
that's a good time for
Okay,
to
and
train for
how
it.
does that training would work?
By doing like 3 miles Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, and then on Saturday you do your long runs. You start by doing 6 miles, and then eventually you pick it up to like 10 miles, 14 miles, 18, and then you do 20. And once you start getting closer to the marathon, you bring down your mileage.
And you rest for what, a week before? You rest the whole month, or how do you?
No, well, the week before, just you could do some walking, just to
Oh, okay.
get your body moving,
Yeah.
and then you should be good by the time you get to your marathon.
And do shoes help for
Oh,
sure?
definitely, you gotta get the right shoes.
Don't go on your
No, because
on your
different
Vans.
people run different, so you have to get the right shoes for your feet.
Yeah.
So they recommend to get tested to see how your feet is landing. The arc that you have on your foot, that's very important too, because if you don't have the right shoes, you could get injured.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way, guys. Don't run on whatever shoes. I
Yeah.
probably had these for like a decade. It's probably like this thin at the bottom.
Oh yeah, it's
So
recommended to change your shoes maybe like every 300 to 400 miles, depending
Yeah,
on
man.
the type of the shoe.
These are on the 1,000-mile mark till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
Obviously, for me, as I'm getting older, I mean, your joints work different.
Yeah.
Your breathing, your stamina works different. But I mean, I've seen people's in their 60s, 70s that can burn me. Over.
Oh yeah,
You
I think I
overlap me.
did the Chicago Marathon in October. I think one of the ladies, she was probably like 65, finished like in 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
see?
it's just about being disciplined, going
Yeah.
out there, doing the training.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the age, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
As
no,
long as
I-
you stay active and you stay committed, it doesn't matter if you're 80, 7 years old.
yeah.
You should be in good shape.
And what else would you say you do for preparing to it? Do you do any like weight training? You do any
That's
like
something that I need to do, man.
Okay.
I don't do any weight training.
What is it?
It helps out a lot,
Oh, okay.
especially for your long runs. It definitely helps out. But that's something I want to get more into doing. That helps a lot too, especially for longer runs.
I think you said it earlier as far as when you did the 100 miles. You said something about the
Rhabdo?
rhabdo.
Uh-huh.
So is that can happen to anyone,
It
really,
can happen
right?
to anybody. If you're doing like really hard workouts, it can happen to anyone.
And that goes away on its own, or is that something like you require?
No, it all depends how bad you get, because it can really affect your kidneys.
Okay.
But if you take care of it soon, and with IV, that's what they did to me for 3 days, just to flush out all the liquid that I had in my kidneys.
Okay.
That's the only way to make you go away and get better.
I mean, do you go to a doctor prior to a marathon now, or you kind of
No,
fill it out like, oh,
Yeah,
I feel good?
just when you feel like this is getting really hard, like, because when I did my first 50 mile, I was hallucinating,
Oh.
because I was super dehydrated. I was running and I would see a rock. I was like, is that a coyote?
Oh,
Like
damn.
I just felt really dizzy, and just because the heat messes you up. Even though you're drinking enough water, it still messes you up.
Any pacers around? Like, for instance, you're running, you could be in the middle of nowhere and pass out and no one knows? Or-
For longer runs, you could have a pacer.
I mean, that's optional, or there's just someone there
Yeah,
at all
that's
times?
optional. Like you could bring your own pacer. Like say you want to run with me, you want to pace me.
Well, I could be on my little go-kart if
That'd be good, man. Yeah, it's like you could meet me like at mile 50 and then run like 30 miles with me.
But there's no one assigned from the marathon. Like, there's no
No,
one.
they do have pacers like the LA Marathon, the different marathon. They do have pacers but for longer runs, like 100-mile runs and on. You bring your own pacer.
But they're kind of like stationed, right? Like
Yeah, like
mile
they'll meet
10,
you at
mile 20.
like 30, and then you have another pacer that'll meet you at mile 80 to finish the last.
So
the
you
last
can-
20 miles.
This could be literally mile, let's say 10. Then mile 20 to someone else. Let's
Uh-huh.
say you pass out where they at.
Yeah.
No one will know unless someone else runs by
Yeah,
you,
but
right?
you have your aid stations at different miles that they have there, just in case you need something.
Okay.
And then there is people that going back and forth just to make sure you're okay, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's if you're doing a well-organized event, they have people that are making sure that.
Yeah, I would imagine just because also it's not free, right? You have to
Oh,
pay
you have
to
to pay.
do it, right?
You
So I
have to pay to
figured.
suffer.
Yeah.
You pay to suffer, and
And it's not cheap. It's not like
no,
no
they're
$15,
expensive, man.
$20.
I think the 100 miles are $400 and up.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's really it's pricey. The triathlons, the Ironmans are like $800.
Damn.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Why do you think they do that?
Permits, the city depending, you have to get permits to organize an event, and you know they could cost a lot of money.
God forbid someone dies in that event.
Yeah, you have to sign a waiver before.
Oh, so you waive your.
Yeah, you have to
Oh.
sign a waiver. And, you know, you're aware of what could happen to you. You know, you could die running 100 miles, so you have to sign a waiver.
Damn.
Yeah, they have to pay for insurance just in case, you know, you want to sue or something like that.
Yeah.
They make you sign a waiver that you're aware of what could
The
happen
risk.
to you. The
Yeah.
risk, yeah.
I was trying to get convinced. Now I don't know.
Yeah, sign up for your first marathon, man.
I think I will. Like, just what's the shortest one? Well, the 5K,
Oh, yeah,
obviously.
5K, your 10Ks, your half
But I think a decent one, because I mean, obviously I'm injured from it, but I did 16 miles. So what was that considered, a 25K? What's 16 miles?
60 miles, like a 30K.
So I started with 3 miles, because I went around the Rose Bowl. 3 miles, that's what it is. Then the next time I did 6, and then I'm like, you know what, I could do another lap, which was that 9.
9.
Like 3 days later, I put it on social media, kind of to accountability, right? I'm gonna do 15 miles, tell the world. Now I have to do it. Like, I told everybody I'm gonna have to do it. So I was there at mile 9, and I was already feeling it. I was giving up. I'm like, I don't know, bro. My knee hurts.
Probably you gotta get the right shoes. You gotta get fitted for the right shoes.
That's for sure. So yeah, I was giving up, but I'm like, you know what? Accountability. I said 15. I'm gonna do the 15. So I did like maybe the last 2 miles walking, but I'm like, I gotta finish.
I mean, that's what a lot of people go to the gym. You know, they work out to, get bigger muscles, but also doing hard stuff is what makes you work on your mind, build a stronger mind.
Yeah.
Going out there and enduring the pain, it helps out a lot, man.
A lot of it is mental, yeah.
It's a lot of mental, yeah.
Because I was, honestly, I told you I was giving up on mile 9. I lied. I was giving up on mile 6.
Yeah, but when you push forward, that's what
I did.
You build a strong mind.
Yeah. That's what I did. Like, one more lap. Then I did that lap. Like, you know what? One more.
It's pushing yourself to your next level.
Do you listen to music or kind of like the motivational speak?
I do have some motivational that I listen to, and then also, I put my music on.
So David Goggins yelling in your ear?
It's a huge influence signing up for my first 50-mile race. Because a lot of people talk, they say, I'm going to sign up for my first 50-mile race, but first I'm going to lose weight. Sign up for it and then train for it, because you can't wait until you lose 10, 20 pounds and then sign up for it.
Yeah, you never really start.
No, you're never going to do it. Just sign up for it and then get out there and train and go out there and do it.
Yeah. And David Goggins is a big influence on you, right?
When I first found out about him, huge influence on.
Yeah. No, it's always good to have some kind of, I guess, guidance, mentorship. Like, even if it's just like watching or listening to someone, especially if they walk the walk. It's not like just someone yelling. Like, no, he's out there doing it.
And I got to run with last year on my birthday.
Oh, dope.
So he was out here, came out to do. He had a challenge going on. He was doing 4 miles every 4 hours. And he was meeting different places, so I got to meet him and then run with them for the last 4 miles of this challenge. I started running with these Tele runners, and then I run with Monterey Park Mondays, Montebello.
You're just involved in
just different running communities to go out there and support.
And then you're also, I seen what's the brand new Runner? What's it called?
Runner. I'm an ambassador for Runner, so they've been really supportive the past 2 years. Coming out here, hosting runs, giving me hats just to give away at the run. So they've been really supportive on my running journey.
I need a new hat. Just saying, I don't know.
I got you, man.
I always tell that to people, and jokingly, but I also mean it, that I rock whatever. Not to say whatever, but I'm always open. I love just promoting, representing people's businesses, like, give me a shirt, I'll wear it.
Yeah.
Hat out there,
rocking
it.
It's a family business, women-owned business. Kate and Albert, they've been really supported.
What do you have coming up right now?
Next year, I have Surf City Marathon. I'm doing LA Marathon, and I'm going to go for Kodiak 100 miles.
Is that the Big Bear one?
The Big Bear.
Ooh, and it's tougher, because it's cold,
it's
elevated?
It's tougher because the elevation, so it's harder to breathe, and the terrain, there's a bunch of rocks on the course, so it makes it harder to run. Getting used to the breathing part, because being out there in the mountains, it's hard if you're not used to being high elevation.
Do you ever do those runs with the mask?
I do have a mask. I do train with them sometimes with the mask. To help out. Yeah, because you could get really lightheaded and you could pass out because the breathing gets really, really hard.
I went on a hike where it's elevated.
Yeah.
So you get that it's hard to breathe. So they sell these tanks, like oxygen tanks. You just like take a hit and
Okay.
you feel better. Because literally you get dizzy when elevated.
Yeah.
You just gotta take
It's
some
happened to
oxygen.
me, and I did a race at Mount Baldy, and the first 3 miles I felt really good, but when I reached like mile 5, you're up in the mountains. The air gets a little bit lighter, and you do feel lightheaded. So that threw me off the whole race. I couldn't breathe, so I had to stop and kind of walk and catch my breath. But yeah, if you're not used to it, it could mess you up.
So you got 100K coming up. Well, you got multiple.
100 miles.
That's your biggest one,
That's
100.
my biggest one, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, once I do that, eventually I want to get into doing longer distance. So there's races that you run for 200 miles, 250 miles. But for that one, I have to have a crew that's following me, making sure I'm okay. You have to eat, obviously you have to sleep. So I have to build a team, to follow me through the race.
And that can kind of mean that, how we said earlier, meet you at miles somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily run along with you, right? Because
No.
everyone's going to be tired the same if they do that, right?
Yeah, the first 50 miles you run on your own, and if you want a pacer, to kind of help you out, making sure you're okay after running in the dark, especially.
Yeah.
You can pick up a pacer at mile 50 and then run with you for 30 miles or whatever, and then in the next aid station you can have another pacer follow you and make sure you finish with them.
Yeah, because remember you messaged me about doing a documentary. I saw it and I figured like, damn, do they have multiple camera people that like one gets tired then the next one goes?
Yeah,
Because it almost seems like the camera person has to be even more in shape than that person, like.
Yeah, because you have your GoPro that you carry with you, but also when one of the pacers is also recording you.
Yeah, because the quality of that video seemed like there's no small camera. They had like a for sure a DSLR.
Yeah, obviously, you have to be in great shape to keep up.
So I'm like, damn, I gotta train double.
Or just get your drone and follow me on the drone. Right?
I figured that because I'm down in the sense where, how I said, meet you at this mile. Drive around me on the next, or stop somewhere and drone it, like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's certain sections that you could meet your runner, because they have different aid stations you could stop. So yeah, just meet me at like mile 20, and then mile 40, and then eventually 60, and then the finish line.
Yeah.
So there's different sections where you can record. I love doing hills. That's my training, just doing hills.
Damn. Just that hill we took right now.
That's why nobody wants to come out and run with me, man, because they're scared of running hills.
That's the thing. Look, another thing with him is like, no, it's only a mile.
Because if I tell you, we're going to go out and do 5 miles with hills, you're like, oh, no, I'm not going to do it. I can't do that. And sometimes, you tire yourself, you can't do it. But that's why whenever I bring somebody out for a run, like, we're just going to do 3 miles.
Yeah.
Something easy. But it's actually going to be like 5 miles with hills.
And once you're here, it's like...
And then eventually, they end up doing it.
I get that. It's just funny, though, because I already know. Honestly, I already know. Something's going to happen. We're going to go steep somewhere or something. Which is okay, as long as, like, you don't take me on 100K or something. Like, all right, then no, for sure. But I'm well aware that it's not going to be, like, the easiest day.
That's why a couple of years ago, I bought my wife a road bike. And on her first bike ride, I took her on 50 miles, which is not. I feel bad because she ended up getting fever. She got sick, man, because I pushed her too much. Imagine from not riding to riding 50 miles.
Bro, yeah, that's
why she doesn't want to ride no more. Cause
scared.
I push her around, yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's another thing too. Because you obviously you train and you know what you could do. Sometimes someone starting off, you might think, oh, it's easy because it's easy for you now. And sometimes you feel like, why are they struggling? But like, dude, they hadn't run forever. That's why I feel too when I try to kind of push people as far as, lo que sea, like, oh, how could you not know how to turn on a camera? Like, how do you know where the record button
never
is?
done it before.
Yeah, so stuff like that where I'm like, okay, you got to kind of put yourself in that, like, all right, maybe it's not that easy. But also, that it's not going to literally kill them.
Yeah.
Like, hope you don't kill anyone with your workouts.
I think for me, when I first started riding, I started running with one of my buddies, Dario, up in, he lives in Chino Hills. And all my riding was just riding through hills. So that's my training. I just started right away doing hills, and it was really hard. Like, I had to get off my bike and walk. But eventually, I built up to able to ride the hill without stopping. And that's how I started, man. Just started by doing hills. So I think maybe that's when I bring somebody along, we're going to do hills, we're going to challenge you, we're going to push you.
Yeah.
And, it helps out. It makes you makes you get stronger. It's never gonna get easier. You're just gonna get
Yeah, it's
stronger
gonna
and
build
faster.
up.
It's always gonna be hard.
Yeah. And I think hills is kind of the to the point workout, you know? It's short, intense, but you get the best
get the
workout rather than
workout,
running a whole hour. You can probably get the same workout like in 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I just the right shoes. It's just
getting
me.
the right shoes, the right gear, and you should be good.
And water. I always forget water. It's in the table somewhere. I left it in the table.
Yeah, you don't want to dehydrate and pass. So a lot of people, you could die from that. And
Dehydration.
if you go for a hike and then it's really hot, water,
Yeah.
you can definitely die from it, man. It's really dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing a short hike, 2 miles, you're good with water. But if longer distance, you definitely need electrolytes.
I guess I'm getting a little personal, but do you ever need to like pee or poop or something where
it happens. Like there's races that you're going for time and then you ate something that upset your stomach and it just messes up your whole time, man. Yeah.
So you have to hold it because unless you see don't they have porta potties?
They have porta potties, but there's people that rather do it on themselves because they don't want to waste time.
Oh.
So there's been races that people they pee on themselves or they poop on themselves.
Oh wow.
Because they don't want to stop and mess up their time. But those are more like the elites, the competitive people.
Yeah.
Though if you're going out there, there's porta potties you can use the restroom.
Oh damn, that's another level to go on yourself. Even the uncomfort, I guess.
My goal, like for triathlons, like I want to go and compete at Kona in Hawaii. That's like the biggest race for triathlon. So I want to get to the level where I can go out there and compete in my age group.
Okay.
So they have competitions like from if you're 30 to 40, you're in one category. So you're competing with everybody in the same age. So I want to get to the level where I can compete in my age group category.
Gotcha.
But for me, the hardest part is the swimming, man. Because I could swim, but I'm still not a good swimmer. So I want to get into, competitive swimming.
So you have to literally master all three in order to like really
I'm scared of the ocean, man. I'm scared of swimming the ocean.
So, but you go in and
you
then
go
come
in,
back.
like you have to go into the waves, and then eventually, you do like a little loop and come back.
So there's someone in there already, and you have to like touch a line or something.
Yeah.
Or how do they know that you reached the mark?
So they have the little buoys that they put in the water.
Oh,
so
you go around it.
You go around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there's just people out there, just in case that something happens.
But there's someone watching. Make sure you do it. Is there like no way you can like sneak around?
No, there's people there that are watching. Yeah, I did an open water swim in a lake, and it was really choppy. And since I'm still not a good swimmer, I panicked. And I was screaming, even though I had a wetsuit that helps you kind of float. I was screaming for help, like, oh, I need help, because I panicked and I felt like I was going to drown.
Oh, man.
And somebody came out there and they're like, oh, don't worry, don't panic. And they were able to help me and just bring me back to shore, because, that's one thing you're not supposed to do, panic, especially when you're in the water.
Yeah.
Just stay calm and, just control your breathing.
And watch you got tired and you felt like spaghetti hands?
It was really choppy. So when I was swimming, I felt like I was just going on the water. The waves were going on top of me. So when I was coming out to breathe, I was still in the water. So I wasn't able to breathe. So I ended up panicking. And I just got on my back, started swimming for help. But, you're supposed to stay calm in situations, because if you panic, it just makes it worse.
Yeah. Yeah, you end up dragging yourself down, no?
Yeah, because you're moving too much. And,
and tire yourself.
Yeah, you can tire yourself, too.
And yeah, I think that's a fear of mine too, the water. I mean, I can kind of swim, but just not the pro level, but I can float.
Especially out when you're in the ocean, you don't know what's in the bodies. Sharks, man. There's a lot of stuff that's in the ocean.
I guess that's another mental thing you have to.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's super dark. You can't see anything down there. But that's when I want to get up to building my endurance in the swimming part.
That's what's gonna put you ahead, right?
Yeah.
As far as like if you can get that done quicker,
the faster you get the swimming part, because my strongest sport's the bike part. So the faster you can get in the swimming part, you can get on the bike and then just go hard on the bike, and then save your legs for the running part.
I hate to sound like a super rookie. So you start swimming, they shoot a gun or how they do it, go.
Yeah, they start you off, you count down 10 all the way to 1, and you start. Cool.
You do the loop. You get out and there's like a bike rack, so there's your bike there.
So you get out, you run. So they have bike racks where you leave your bike, you have all your gear.
So las tienen like lined up where everyone's fair starting at a line, or it's just amontonadas?
So it's like a big lot, and they have your bike rack by number. So based on your number, like, your number 502, so your sections from 500 to like 510 is your bike rack. That's the whole row. Okay. So you have to run. So you run like quarter of a mile to get to the destination where you have the bikes, and then you have all your gear there. your shoes, your socks, your helmet, glasses.
Oh, because you have to change
So
and
you
dry
take off your
off.
wetsuit, get into your biking gear, and then you take off.
But they don't have it where someone complains like, "Oh, my bike was like way over there, and we came
No,
out the same, and now I'm way
no,
behind."
depending on your number.
Okay, and
Yeah.
do you bring your own bike or
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
the
you bring your
same
own
bike?
bike. Yeah.
So is there any advantages? Like anyone has like an elite bike where they're
Yeah,
like,
there's people there. Bikes are like $20,000. So
damn,
aerodynamic bike, triathlon bike. So
you're
yeah,
on your BMX.
so yeah, it depends on the bike you have. So if you have a starter bike, it's if somebody has like a $15,000 bike,
Yeah.
that's gonna help out a lot too. But it's also on the person, how active you are. It's a really expensive sport because you have to get your bike, you have to get your clips, your pedals, your gloves, your glasses, your helmets, and then if you're traveling to a different state, you have to pay for your bike to put it in the plane, and you have to get a bike transport to put your bike.
Yeah.
So it's an expensive sport.
So let's backtrack a little. So, okay, 6 miles swimming,
2.4 miles.
2.4 miles swimming. Boom, you get off, you change, you get on your bike. How many miles is that?
112 miles on the bike.
112 miles.
Uh-huh.
Okay, backtrack again. Swimming, más o menos, how long would you say?
Well, for me, since I'm not a good swimmer, I think the first 2.4 miles, I did in like in 58 minutes, almost an hour.
Okay.
In an hour. But there's other people like the professionals that do it like in 30-minute hits.
Oh, okay. And
No,
just straight
actually,
up.
no, I'm lying. It took me almost 2 hours to do the 2.4 miles.
So,
So I barely made, because the cutoff time is 2 hours and 20 minutes.
so why is that? You swim, then you kind of stop and rest, and then
Actually,
you.
I didn't stop, but just, it has to do a lot with your breathing and your technique
Oh,
in the
okay.
swimming part. So I still have to master my technique and master my breathing, because I could only breathe on one side.
Oh, okay.
So, you have to
yeah.
go out and breathe on one side, and you have to go out breathe on the other side. So I could only breathe on my right side. So I need to practice on breathing on both sides.
Both sides.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, so
2.4.
2.4. Then you do 112. And that's your strong part.
No, biking is my stronger.
So you would say you kind of make up the time that you missed on
Yeah,
swimming.
on the
You
swimming.
kind of like
Uh-huh.
get on it. Okay, then once you get to another lot where your numbers are there and you park your bike, or
So
how
you
does that work?
get back to the first lot where you had to bike.
Oh, so it's
Yeah, you come back to the spot, and then they have your running shoes there, and then you change if you want to change into your running gear, and then you run off to your.
Do you change?
Sometimes the first one I didn't change.
Just the shoes.
Yeah, just the shoes. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't change, but some people do change to get into your running gear. But if you don't want to waste time, just put on your shoes and take off.
Okay, so you changed. How many miles left?
26 miles.
26
26.2.
running.
On your bike parts, when you're supposed to fill up, like drink a lot of water, drink your electrolytes, your bars, because you have to have energy when it comes to the running part. Because you still have to run 26 miles. You still
Yeah,
have to
no,
have
that's
that
the
energy.
thing. That's a whole mental
It is.
game right there.
Yeah.
So, is there a technique for bikes to endure that? Like, do you pedal for 2 minutes and coast for a minute? I don't know. Like,
That depends on the person. On the downhills, you could either not pedal on the downhills to save your energy.
like,
yeah.
go
Just
like
go
this.
down. Yeah. Yeah. So just save your energy in downhills, not pedaling. And
Is there crazy uphills?
it depends on which race. There's races that do have more hills than others. But the one that I did one in Canada, and then it was really hilly, about 6,000 feet of climbing. So.
But they're all the same route. There's no alternatives.
No, everybody's doing the same route.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And do people get crazy? Like, does someone kick someone
No,
to win? Oh, okay.
You can't do that. You get disqualified.
Okay. It's not like Mario Kart. You can't, you can't throw banana peels.
No.
But do you ever feel like someone's in your way, they don't get out or stuff like that?
For the swimming part, that's when everybody's trying to swim, so you're getting kicked, you're getting hit in the head, your glasses might fall off. Your goggles. So yeah, the swimming part it could get really hectic because everybody's they're swinging their arms, they're kicking. So a lot of times you get kicked in the face, you get hit in the face, and you have to know what to do in that situation. Because sometimes they could kick you in the face and then your goggles could fall off, and then you have to learn how to put your goggles back.
Because you're literally floating. There's no way you can they kick, I'm gonna stand up
No,
and
you can't. You're in the water. Bike part, they don't allow drafting, which is you can't be behind somebody because the air they could be blocking the air for you, so you can't be behind somebody.
Oh.
You get disqualified for doing that.
And then running is just straightforward, just
Straightforward,
running.
yeah.
26 miles.
26.2 miles.
Then I'll be tired after swimming. I'll be like,
Yeah,
I'm done,
swimming,
guys. Thank
that's
you.
why they do the swimming part first, because it takes all your energy, you know.
Do people give out after swimming? They're like, I don't want to continue.
If you don't meet your time, then you get disqualified. So you have to do the swimming part under 2 hours and 20 minutes. You have the option to continue, but you're disqualified from the race.
Or you just continue to complete it,
Just
but
to
not
complete it, but
necessarily.
it's a DNF. You cannot finish.
And how much you pay for sub? Oh, that's the 400 one?
The Ironman, I think I paid like $800.
Damn. So I guess that's what they also make you pay to kind of like commit yourself to do it. You're like, I spend this money, I have to do it, you know?
It's really pricey, yeah, because they have, you know, your permits and all that stuff.
Yeah, because for instance, if you didn't have to pay, sometimes you're like, you sign up, might not even show up.
Yeah, you won't show up, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that, you know, when I did sign up for my first 100 mile, I think there was 100 people and only 80 showed up. And out of those 80, I think it only like 20 finished.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You need to finish a marathon in certain time to qualify for one in a different state, right? Or
Yeah,
something
like
that?
so, like the Boston Marathon, that's like one of the hardest races to get in. You have to meet a certain time to get in to run the Boston Marathon.
And they determine that through a previous marathon, like you file in your paperwork, like, hey, I did the LA Marathon in this time.
Yeah, so from age 18 to 34, the time to get in to run the Boston Marathon is 3 hours. From 35 to 40, it's 3 hours and 5 minutes. And then from 40 to like 50 is like 3:15.
Well, it's not a big gap, huh? I mean,
it's not
it's
a big
time,
gap,
like
yeah.
it's
Just
minutes.
For men.
Yeah.
For women, it's a little bit easier. Like you have, for women, I think it's like 3 hours and 50 minutes and then moves up to like 3:30. So yeah, for 18 to 34, you need to run under 3 hours a marathon.
What happened to equality, girls?
There's a lot of girls that are fast, man. Yeah.
No, I bet. If you don't qualify, no matter what you do, you just can't run it, right?
You could run it to charity, but I think you have to raise like $10,000.
Oh.
That's like the only way you can do it. Or there's other races that you could run it through a lottery. You submit, and if you get chosen, then you could run the marathon.
Okay.
But it's only like Chicago, New York, London, Berlin. So you can do it through the lottery system, Tokyo, Boston Marathon. That's what makes it so hard, like to get in. We need to qualify to run it.
So the way they're making it exclusive, like not anyone can do it. Like you have to.
And then you also have to qualify, but you also have to meet a cutoff time, because if you qualify, you could submit your application, but then they tell you, all right, you need to run your qualifying time under 5 minutes. So say like for me, for my qualifying time is 3 hours and 5 minutes. And if they put a cutoff time of 5 minutes, then I need to run a marathon under 3 hours. My qualifying time was 2 hours and 58 minutes at the LA Marathon.
And when you're running these, you look at your watch and
My watch.
you have to kind of keep track of
your pace, with because you have your, like, to do a sub 3 hours, you have to do like a 6 minutes and 45-minute pace.
Oh, so every mile you're looking at, I need to keep it at 6.
Yeah, you have to keep. And at the marathon, they also have pacers with signs like, if you want to run the marathon in 3 hours, stick with me. So they have pacers at the marathon, you can see.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And do you carry, or you sell Camelback or something? No?
I carry like a backpack or like a water bottle, and I have my goose with me. So yeah, I carry stuff to save time, not to stop at the water stations.
Yeah. In a diaper, so in case you need to.
In case you need to go to the restroom.
Damn, I'm happy for you, bro, that you're
Thanks,
killing
man.
these marathons, man.
Yeah, I hope you could sign up for the marathon, man.
Slowly, but surely, man. I just got back into the whole fitness side, so I need to
stay committed and consistent.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just the whole discipline about it. How I always tell people, it's easier to just go get a bottle of beers and just chill.
Yeah.
Than to put in the hard work and run, and you get better benefits from running and from exercising. So it's, for sure.
It's good for your mental health. If you're stressed out, go out for a run.
Hey guys, I'm opening a GoFundMe. Go get me some shoes.
Go support Creative Eddie.
Get me some shoes, get me a knee.
If you need help training, man, hit me up. I can help you, kind of guide you on the process.
That's kind of what you do already with the East LA runners. Usually when I see you there, you're kind of pushing
East LA runners,
people.
Monterey Park Mondays, and I kind of help them, guide them. We will have goals, and I can help you guys out with your running goals.
Yeah, I remember the last time I went, you waited for me. Or no, actually, they're all friendly there. Someone I met that day,
Uh-huh.
he saw me that I was struggling. I was
Yeah.
out of breath. I was the last one, and he waited for me.
Yeah.
Like, let's finish it. And he waited
Yeah.
for me, so we finished together. He didn't care if he was like last with
Yeah,
me.
that's what I do. I usually just, when there's somebody new in the group, now, we all have different paces. I always fall back and, make sure they're
Yeah.
okay. Because imagine, we all take off and leave that person in the back.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to come back to that group.
Yeah. No, and that's very good for the community, even just to have a set group that
Yeah.
it's weekly.
And so every Tuesday's for East LA runners and every Monday for Monterey Park Mondays. And then right now there's so many groups that are running daily. There's groups in Boyle Heights runners. They meet up on Wednesdays. Montebello, they have meet up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So there's so many running groups.
And what I like about it too, that you guys, I don't know if every city does this, but for East LA, when I went, you had two different routes, like a 2 mile and
Yeah.
a 4 mile. Like you have,
So you have the option, if you want to walk, you can walk a mile, or if you want to start off with the 2 miles and eventually move up to the 4 miles. So we offer different options.
for someone that's just starting, they don't really get intimidated. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna have to start at 4 miles
Yeah.
today and keep up with everyone that's been here. Like, no, like you can start at the 2 miles,
Yeah.
even though you say a mile walking.
Yeah, when you feel comfortable, you can move to
Just
the 4
encourage,
miles.
yeah, for sure. And that's that's the thing I was telling you that I kind of learned through a YouTube video the hard way, that you need to increase by like 10%, not like
Not jump from like 3 miles to like 19 miles.
to a full marathon.
That's when injuries happen.
Thank you for taking me on this hike and and having this
I told you
conversation
there's
with
going to
me.
be no hills, man.
I already knew something was up, but it's good. Literally something was up. Hope you guys like it. Leave any comments, anything that you want to learn about running, how to get started. That's the guy to go
Message me,
to.
Vigorous 24/7. I can't even stand up, man. Fucking no.